October 25, 1945. The war is over. The bombs have fallen. Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Two cities obliterated in a flash of light. And now the man who built those bombs, J. Robert Oppenheimer, is walking into the Oval Office to meet the man who ordered them dropped. What happened in that room would define the rest of Oppenheimer's life and reveal a chilling fracture at the very heart of the atomic age. To understand why this meeting mattered, you have to understand where Oppenheimer was just months before. August 6, 1945. The announcement comes over the loudspeaker at the Los Alamos laboratory in New Mexico. One word, now. A burst of light, a roar. And Oppenheimer walks out of a building like a prize fighter who just won the championship bout. Hands clasped above his head, soaking in the roar of the crowd. His colleague Isidore Rabi never forgot it. He described Oppenheimer's walk as something out of High Noon, a strut, the walk of a man who had done the impossible. But Oppenheimer's triumph had a shadow underneath it, and it was about to swallow him whole. 3 days later, on August 9th, a second bomb fell, this time on Nagasaki, and Oppenheimer fell apart. The FBI described him as a nervous wreck. He believed the Nagasaki bombing was militarily unjustified. He smoked constantly. He couldn't stop his hands from shaking. He had helped unleash something he wasn't sure humanity could survive. On August 17th, just 8 days after Nagasaki, Oppenheimer sent a letter to Secretary of War Henry Stimson. The message was extraordinary. He wasn't writing to celebrate. He was writing to urge the United States government to ban nuclear weapons entirely. Then he resigned as director of the Los Alamos laboratory. The man who built the bomb was now trying, desperately, to put it back in the box. By October, Oppenheimer had one card left to play, a meeting with President Harry S. Truman at the White House. He knew it was likely his only chance to shape what happened next, to push for international controls on atomic technology before a nuclear arms race made catastrophe inevitable. His grandson, Charles Oppenheimer, described his grandfather's mindset going in. He said J. Robert Oppenheimer walked into that October meeting with strung-out nerves, realizing he didn't have many chances left. The stakes couldn't have been higher. Truman was curious about Oppenheimer. He'd heard the physicist was charismatic, eloquent, brilliant. But Truman had an agenda too. He wanted Oppenheimer's support in lobbying Congress to pass the May-Johnson bill, which would give the U.S. Army permanent control over atomic energy. The two men sat down, and almost immediately the meeting went sideways. Truman told Oppenheimer the first priority was to define the national problem, then worry about the international one. Oppenheimer thought this was not just wrong. He thought it was dangerously wrong. He pushed back, arguing that international controls over atomic technology were the only thing standing between the world and a catastrophic arms race. Then Truman asked a question that left Oppenheimer genuinely baffled. How long do you think it'll take the Soviets to build their own atomic bomb? Oppenheimer said he didn't know. Truman's answer was a single word: never. Oppenheimer was stunned. The man with his finger on the most powerful weapons in human history genuinely believed the Soviets would never develop the bomb. The physicist, who understood nuclear physics better than almost anyone alive, knew that was almost certainly wrong. And then came the moment that would define their relationship forever. Oppenheimer wrung his hands together, looked at the President of the United States and said, "Mr. President, I feel I have blood on my hands." A long, incredibly awkward silence followed. There are different accounts of what Truman said next. One account has him saying simply, "Never mind, it'll all come out in the wash." Another, and this one is almost too cinematic to believe, has Truman reaching into his breast pocket, pulling out a handkerchief and handing it to Oppenheimer. "Well, here, would you like to wipe your hands?" The meeting ended with a handshake and a reassurance from Truman that they would work something out together. Neither man believed it. The moment Oppenheimer left the White House, Truman turned to his aides and let them have it. He called Oppenheimer a crybaby scientist. He fumed that Oppenheimer didn't have half as much blood on his hands as the president did, and that real leaders don't go around bellyaching about it. He later told his Secretary of State, Dean Acheson, in words that leave little to the imagination, "I don't want to see that son of a bitch in this office ever again." And he meant it. That meeting, October 25, 1945, was the only time J. Robert Oppenheimer and Harry S. Truman ever sat down together. It was the one chance Oppenheimer had to redirect the course of the nuclear age, and it was over before it really began.